Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready to dive into some juicy stuff about mindset and manifestation. I was super intrigued by the podcast episode you sent over about those daily habits for success, especially like the whole idea that we can, shape our reality through our thoughts and actions. Wild.
Yeah, it's a pretty powerful concept when you really think about it. And it's been around forever, but it seems like everyone and their mom is talking about it these days.
Totally. And Sarah and Ryan, the podcast hosts, they're all about it, right? Like they were saying how success isn't just, luck or whatever. It's about building the right mindset, the right habits, like actively going after it.
Absolutely. They're bringing together all the big hitters.
Mm.
Manifestation, visualization, gratitude. It's like they created this framework, right?
Yeah.
Where it all kind of clicks together.
Yeah.
Basically saying you got to align those thoughts, your beliefs, your actions, and then bam, you attract the things you want.
Okay. Break that down a little for me. So they talk about that morning visualization and gratitude practice, right? Spending like 10, 15 minutes every morning visualizing, doing the gratitude thing. Why the morning, though? What's the deal with that?
Well, think of it this way. You wake up, your mind's kind of clear,
Right.
like a blank slate, right?
Mm-hmm.
So doing this stuff first thing, it's like you set the tone for the whole day. It's like priming yourself for success. Maybe that's a little cliche, but you know what I mean.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. It's like you're planting those seeds, right?
Yeah.
When your mind's most open to it all.
Exactly. And the visualization piece is really cool too. Neuroscience is actually starting to understand this stuff, showing that when you vividly imagine yourself crushing it, your brain kind of fires in a similar way to if you were actually doing the thing.
No way. So our brains are like, wait, is this real? Or are we just thinking about it really, really hard?
It's obviously more complex than that.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, when you consistently visualize your goal, those neural pathways in your brain, the ones related to that goal, they get stronger. And guess what?
Yeah.
That makes you more likely to take action and actually make it happen.
Wow, that's wild. So it's not just like wishful thinking. There's actual science backing it up.
100%. Oh, and we can't forget about the whole feeling thing. Remember how Sarah and Ryan wouldn't let that go? Not to just see it, you got to feel what it would be like to achieve your goal. Like, really tap into those positive emotions.
Which is where the gratitude comes in, right?
Bingo. Gratitude's a game changer because it takes you from, like, I don't have this, to look at all this awesome stuff I do have. It's super empowering.
It's like what you focus on expands or something like that, right? If you're all hung up on what you don't have, it's like, hello, more of that, please. But when you're genuinely grateful for what's already there, it's like you're sending out this signal, more good stuff, please, and thank you.
You got it. And it doesn't have to be just, things. It can be your health, the people in your life, that amazing cup of coffee this morning. It's about finding that feeling of abundance everywhere.
Okay, so we're seeing the power of this visualization and gratitude, especially in the morning. But how does this actually, play out in real life? Do Sarah and Ryan give any examples? Like, do any famous people use these techniques?
Oh, for sure. They totally do. There's this whole part in the episode where they talk about athletes using visualization all the time to up their game. They'll picture a move, a race, whatever, again and again in their minds, and it actually helps them perform better when it's go time.
Yeah. I've heard about that, like with Olympians even, picturing themselves on the podium, everything, even feeling that medal, right?
Whoa. Exactly. And get this, it's not just athletes. They talk about entrepreneurs, right? Using it to make their business dreams happen. Artists tapping into their creativity. The whole gratitude thing is big in the business world, too.
Yeah.
There's all this research now saying that leaders who practice gratitude, well, they tend to have happier teams, more productive, and their businesses do better overall.
Right. It's like that saying, you catch more flies with honey, You approach work, relationships, whatever, with that grateful attitude. It's got to be better for everyone.
100%.
Okay.
And that actually reminds me of another point they made. This stuff isn't like a magic wand. It's not like you sit around visualizing a pile of cash and poof, it just shows up in your account.
Yeah, okay, so no magic wand. More like aligned action.
You got it. They're big on this idea that these practices, they really work best when you're putting in the work, taking action.
So you're visualizing the goal, you're feeling grateful for it like you already have it, and then you get off your butt and actually make it happen.
Nailed it. It's like recognizing your own power to create your reality, but also knowing that, manifestation works with your efforts, not instead of them.
Okay, that makes sense. But here's something I'm wondering about. Is there ever, a downside? What if someone gets so caught up in visualizing their dream life that they, I don't know, lose touch with the real world?
Whoa, that's actually a really good point. And you know what? Sarah and Ryan actually mentioned that a bit. They're like, hey, don't use this stuff to avoid actually doing the work.
So it's about transforming your reality, not running away from it.
Yeah. Like, it's great to picture yourself with an amazing career, but you also got to update that resume, network, go on those job interviews. You can't just skip that part.
It's like setting the intention and then trusting that, I don't know, the universe or whatever will bring you those opportunities, but you got to be ready to jump when they show up.
Exactly. And that's where self-awareness comes in, right?
Sure.
You got to check in with yourself. Am I really committed, or am I just using this to avoid dealing with my life right now? That's the question.
Totally. Self-awareness is huge. It's like, how do you know you know? Like, are you really walking the walk, embodying all this stuff? Or are you just like kidding yourself with all the positive vibes?
That's where I think that gut feeling comes in. Your intuition. Does something feel good, exciting, or does it feel kind of heavy, like fear-based? Those feelings, they can tell you a lot.
Yeah, that gut feeling, right? Sometimes you just know.
And sometimes that knowing means getting a little uncomfortable, taking a chance, even when you're not totally sure it'll work out.
So big picture time, right? This whole deep dive. What are the big takeaways for our listeners out there?
I think the biggest one is, like, we got to acknowledge the power of mindset. Even if maybe you don't buy into every little thing about manifestation, right? Our thoughts, our beliefs, they really do shape our reality.
And remember how we were talking about the science? Our brains, they don't always know the difference between what's real and what we're just imagining super clearly.
Exactly. Which means those practices we talked about, visualization, gratitude, they can be super powerful tools if you're trying to create that life you want, right?
Yeah.
But you got to be genuine about it, ready to put in the work.
Love it. Don't just dream it, be it.
You know it. And remember, what works for one person might not work for another. Try different things, see what clicks for you, and be patient. It's all a process, right?
It's a journey, for sure. And speaking of journeys, this deep dive has given us a lot to think about. As we wrap up, is there one last thought, a question maybe, for our listeners to chew on?
How about this? If it's true that our thoughts, our beliefs, can really impact our world, our own lives, what if we could use that same power to make a difference on a bigger scale?
Whoa, that's next level.
Yeah, right. Like, if we can manifest our own dream life, what about working together to create a world that's more peaceful, more fair, a better place for everyone? Think about the possibilities.
Now that's something to think about. Amazing. Well, on that note, we'll leave you all with that food for thought. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time.